just a shout out to Amit Sarkar. Yes, he deserves it. So making Kane captain and getting those
Luke
38
Shaw points, man. Getting
and
those Luke
he also
Shaw
had Luke
points as well.
Shaw, jammy, yep. But no, it's been coming. Luke Shaw and him delivering a haul. It was actually on the card. So yeah, I would give him that. Yep, fair play, brother.
Hello and welcome to another episode of FPL Escapades. My name is 𝗧𝗘𝗔𝗠 and as always, I'm joined by Akshay and Anand to review FPL assets for Game Week 28 and also discuss about the Game Week 27 that has just gone by. Guys, welcome back. Great to have you back here. Anand, how was Game Week 27 in a nutshell? Was it good? Was it bad? Uh, how was it?
Really bad actually. It was a double game week, but I still scored just 55 points. And captaincy didn't work as well as I had my I had Salah as my captain. But yeah, we have to move on when the chips are down.
Absolutely, absolutely. Akshay, coming to you, man, how was your game week? I think you fared the best out of the three of us.
Uh, you can say that. So I ended up with 72 points and didn't suffer much from my bench as well because decided to bench DCL who did not do much, and the city defense, like we spoke about in our episode with the Llama Lounge as well. Like Anand spoke about the midfield being a lottery, and I think I pointed out that the defense is also a lottery now. So we just realized that it actually is one because Cancelo giving 1 point in a double game week is not done. So Pep Guardiola needs to be kind to us and stop doing the Pep Roulette a little more often. But personally, I have actually decided to not suffer much and going heavy. So finally deciding to take a hit after game week 10. Yes, that's my first hit after game week 10. So I had two free transfers and my team, I could go both ways. So I could have either gotten players for game week 29 and look to field maybe 8 to 9 players, and that would have come at the cost of a hit as well. But when I saw that my team actually has only 4 to 5 players right now for game week 29, I thought maybe I'm better suited for a game week 33 right now rather than looking for players for 29. So my idea is right now is to free it in 29, and I'm not sure if that is the right option because there aren't many appealing fixtures as we have already discussed. But for my team and for the plan going forward, I think that's the best idea right now. So if you look at my team and the transfers that I've made, so I've bought in Kevin De Bruyne, Mason Mount, and Rudiger. So Chelsea's form is something that has impressed me, and I've closely watched their games as well to go into their players. So Mount and Rudiger, both of them were rested, if you remember in the last game. So what I feel is they've had their due rest, and now they'll get a long run of games going forward. And apart from the blank in 29, I think Chelsea have a great run of fixtures, probably the best run of fixtures leading into 33. So looking at targeting that, and Mason Mount is someone who's actually impressed a lot. So Chelsea face Leeds next, and Rudiger is someone who I am fancying to get a header against Leeds, as we all know how vulnerable they are at set pieces. So those are the three transfers that I made. Removed Stones, Harvey Barnes, and Mo Salah. So who finally decided to wear his shooting boots last night, and that actually happened just after I made my transfer. So I'm not too gutted about that because I have already lost faith in him and the entire Liverpool team as of now because they do not look the same, and with players coming back into the fold from injury, maybe they do recover and get that mojo back. But right now I am looking at Kevin De Bruyne because that guy is actually back, and he was actually unlucky because he had to be taken off courtesy Pep Guardiola and him managing his minutes. But I think Anand put that phrase in the last episode. The big boys are back in town, so yeah, we need to keep that in mind. Yeah.
Absolutely, Big Bag boys are indeed back in town, and it looked like that as well. Going back to our discussion at FPL FPL Lounge and our last episode as well, where we discussed who three would be the best, assets from Manchester City. And now it looks like you correctly mentioned, that it seems like it is a gamble to play to defense in City. But definitely KDB, Gundogan, and Mahrez, both all the three of them coming in really red hot. And I, for one, think that Mount is a good shout. Anand, do you think they're doubling up on Chelsea right now, given that their form has been pretty good, and also they have good fixtures? Do you see any reasons why would you not go for Chelsea?
Well, I already have Alonso in my team,
Who
so
hasn't been
I
playing
do.
though?
He played the last match.
Yeah.
That was some respite. I not been able to watch matches for the last 2 game weeks, but I did see the highlights, and I feel Alonso owners were a bit unlucky because he did get a couple of chances.
Yeah.
One of them Pickford saved it. But yeah, I think Alonso is a big risk. We discussed ever some way back as well. If you're planning to get in Alonso, make sure that you have a good defensive bench so that if he doesn't play, then somebody can come in, and that's the plan. But yeah, I think regarding Mount, he has been the best player under Frank Lampard, and again under Tuchel, he has been showing glimpses that why he was such an important figure under Frank Lampard. I think it's a great shout as well, especially with Chelsea playing Leeds. It's a great shout. I'll also keep a close eye on the Champions League matches,
Yeah.
and then make a call whether to bring in a Chelsea midfielder or not, because Chelsea midfield, um, you know, because they have so much of options over there, and with Tuchel also playing three defenders at the back, it kinds of limits the forward players, limits in the sense in terms of the numbers. The numbers gets limited, and they have huge options up top, and that is why I'll stay away from Mount for a bit. But yes, he's been on form, and if Tuchel keeps trusting him and keeps playing, then yes, it's definitely a great shout by Akshay regarding this. Regarding Rudiger, I think the German connection between Tuchel and Rudiger is apparently clearly visible, and Rudiger seems like the go-to defender he has alongside Thiago Silva, of course. So yeah, these two guys are pretty nailed on, it seems like.
Yeah, like really interesting points about Chelsea, because I hadn't considered getting any FPL assets from Chelsea, given the kind of game weeks that I've been having. Really drastic red arrows rather, over the last couple of game weeks. I had a decent outing. I had 66 points. Thankfully, my captain paid off in Gundogan. Ings got injured, and I benched Martinez for McCarthy, who had a double game week, did not end up playing in the game where Southampton had a clean sheet, and for some reason started against City to concede five. So that, I think, that has been the story. The main learning from for me this season has been to, I think, play with only one goalkeeper. Anand, like you mentioned, like way back in game week 1 or 2, do not give yourself the option of changing your keepers. I think that is one great advice that I'll be taking away from this season. But yeah, underwhelming, you know, results. DCL blanked. I thought of captaining Kane, and when I was debating myself in the last game week, where I ended up going with Gundogan, who luckily got a goal. Else Mahrez would have had a hat trick. Uh, Unlucky for him. But yeah, I think that has uh, been the story over the last couple of game weeks. I think my eye test or my punts haven't been going my way. Ings being injured, and Suchek I have on my bench. So my bus team right now, without any transfers, is playing the captainship on Gundogan. I haven't triggered my transfers yet. I'm still waiting on team news, and then most likely will be making last minute tinkering as well. But right now, I feel that Suchek and Ings both need to go out of my team for Son and Davis. I'm not really happy with Davis, and because he most likely will not play and will get only 10 to 15 minutes every game. So I will have to play five midfielders and two attackers. And with uh, so much talk about DCL not being in form and Richarlison doing all the scoring and bagging all the FPL points for Everton right now is, basically this has been one time in a very long time that I've been fairly confused with what transfers I need to make. I have two free transfers. We have a blank game week on the horizon as well. Right now, my thought is to somehow avoid it, but I don't think that I'll be able to do it because my defense just doesn't play. I have four players who are not playing, so a lot of tinkering to go. I'm really wanting to get on board the Kane and Son train all over again. I think they have also a decent run of fixtures. So that is where my thought process is. Davis, I'm not really excited about him, honestly. And after looking at Akshay's punt of switching Salah to KDB, I think I might be really interested there as well. Maybe Stones or Diaz out. Stones most likely out for KDB and Gundo. But yeah, this is my thinking right now. Akshay, what are your thoughts? I mean, uh, help out a brother. Like, if I'm in a dilemma as to how do I use my transfers and plan for Game Week 29, what suggestions do you have?
I mean, your thought of removing Danny Ings right now is probably right because his injury is still uncertain how long he's going to be out. So that is probably a nailed on transfer for you. But do you have any money in the bank to upgrade Davis maybe?
No, I do not. I do
Okay,
not.
so probably Son is
So the second
someone.
thing the second thing I was thinking was for Ings, I'd replace Ings with Werner and get in another a cheaper midfielder in place of Suchek. So that is something else that is on my head right now. What do you think about that? Would Werner be a good option?
Chelsea's form is hot right now. So if you want to jump on Werner, maybe this is the right time. But Timo Werner, he somehow manages to dodge FPL points every game. So if you look at the stats and you see the favorite stat that we have, NPXG plus XA, I think Timo Werner is right up top for Chelsea when it comes to per 90 stats. But he somehow seems to dodge FPL points, and I'm not ready to go that route. So personally, I wouldn't suggest Timo Werner, but an absolute great shout. And another reason that I wouldn't suggest Timo Werner is you'll be a lot of you'll be actually spending a lot of money up front, so it'll be a front heavy team, and I personally wouldn't want to go that way. And Son, yeah, I like that option, but how about Gareth Bale? I mean, he's actually he's actually catching our attention right now, and it's not just Gareth Bale coming off the bench. He's actually starting games and impacting games. In fact, he's taking Kane away from Son, so that is something which we don't want. And Bale assisting Kane and Son not being involved is not a happy Son. So not really sure what happens with Son and Bale playing together because. He does tend to hog the ball, Bale, because of his passing and everything that he has. He tends to hog the ball. So Son might be a little less involved, but then that could also be in his favor, wherein he's at the end of those chances. So what are your thoughts, Anand? What do you think about these moves?
Regarding Son, I still feel he's still not a bad option because he is fitter than Bale, and as the game will progress, Bale might be substituted, and because of that, I still feel that once Bale is substituted, then for the final few minutes, the final 10-15 minutes, Son will be playing in his usual role like he was earlier. But with Spurs, it's kind of evident that the first goal is so important for them. Um, Otherwise, it's a very defensive team. But yes, one thing, I usually don't like bringing players from defensive team, but one thing that I did not consider this season, but like we've all been talking about it, that it, it's a learning curve and we all learn from it. And the one thing I learned is that despite Kane or Son playing for a defensive team, they are very clinical. So whatever chances they get, they make the most of it, and that is something which we shouldn't. That is something that we should consider as well about their conversion rates. Regarding Werner, I think a certain manager named Late Riser wants to bring Werner in his team as well. Uh, I just happened to see one of the tweets, and he was talking about it. Well,
actually
regarding Werner,
Havertz as well. He's certainly going to go for a Chelsea attacker. So probably Havertz and Werner, both of them are in his mind. Yeah.
so we all know that Howard also has an aerial presence.
Yeah.
And against Leeds, I remember the last match against West Ham. So Leeds really played really well. But whatever chances West Ham got from set pieces, they looked really lethal.
I mean, Dawson could have
And that
easily
is
had
going
a
to be
hat
the
trick.
case.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is something which suits Howard's style as well. And Kshitij, did you have Howard as well at the start of the season? Because I remember me and Akshay, we definitely had Howard
Yep.
at the
I
start of
had
the
him.
season.
No, I never did. I only had Werner.
Yeah, so last year around this time, it was Pulisic who did all the banging for Chelsea. Alongside even Willian contributed a lot of goals as well. So yeah, this is a high time for Chelsea assets. But yes, let's. I still feel let's wait for the Atletico match in the Champions League. They are 1-0 up, but I'm sure they're going to play a really strong team, their best team against Atletico if they want to progress. And accordingly, we'll get an idea because uh, against Leeds, Tuchel, if he starts a good team against Atletico, he might bench a lot of players against Leeds. Again, but this is just a thought, but I could be wrong regarding this. But yeah, I think good plan, especially with Son and Son, especially if you're not planning to play free hit. If you're not planning to play free hit, then Son looks like a good option. Otherwise, a City player, for example, KDB against Fulham, can be really amazing shout as well. But yeah, Son so far this season, he alongside Salah, Bruno, he has been one of the top scoring midfielders, and I still fancy him. I think if Spurs will be involved in goals, then it's quite likely that Son will have an assist or a goal as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of tinkering, like I said, still need to be done. I don't think I can get away without playing a free hit in Game Week 29 because I do not really, I just have like six players playing. And I think I'll most likely go with the free hit. And if I do, might as well tread on either KDB or Mahrez or any um, other high hitter from FPL perspective. But enough talk about my team and my plans, Anand. With so much of punditry on how Kai Havertz may be the one or Timo Werner, what are your plans going into Game Week 28? Man?
Yeah, so first of all, we've already discussed about what a dreadful game week it was for me. Um, the defense just looks pretty shabby, despite having Stones and Cancelo in there. Despite my captain blanking, I had the likes of Fernandes, Rashford, Foden returning. So one thing I know for sure is, although I like Foden, but I think it's a huge mistake that I've not gone with Gundogan. Um, but yes, it still feels better if your investment returns. And like this week, Foden did return, so it feels better. But yes, I still feel that Gundogan is the go-to guy. He, despite not bombing as much as we have seen Gundogan in the past few game weeks, and despite not bombing as much since the return of KDB, he still has the knack of going inside the box and the kind of goals sometimes he scores is he looks like a magnet, stuck with that goalpost because he scores so close range goals all the time. But yeah, he's having a great season. So I do want to replace Foden sooner than later. But yeah, it will again depend on how City faces Mönchengladbach and what are they going to sort of lineup they'll be having in that match in the Champions League, and accordingly I can tweak either Foden or somebody else because I really love KDB. He was in my team until the time he was injured, and I really want him back. There was a mistake I did. I went with Salah, despite I could have gone with Son because these were the two favorites to take that spot a couple of game weeks back when I was bringing in the player. But so now now I feel like stuck with Salah because KDB is back, and Son is also going to have a blind game week. But yes, like Akshay and you, I don't have a really good team for game week 29, which is a blind game week. I have only, um,
7 players.
I just have 6 players. yeah, I think I just have six players
I think
actually.
Weltman
Bamford,
makes it seven.
Watkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, Weltman will make it seven. But and then if I get in Weltman, I'll still have two free transfers. So without taking any hit, I'll end up having nine. But I think this is the best game week to play free hit for all of us because we have the free hit shift saved. I did think about it a little bit more, and finally I've come to this conclusion that I would want to use my free hit this game week. Despite just four teams playing a match, and you'll just have players to select from 8 teams. But still, I think it still makes sense to have 11 players on the pitch rather than having nine. It gives you a better it gives you better chances of scoring more. So and I've lost a lot of points in the last couple of game weeks, so it's high time to cover up for all the losses of points. So I think 3 is the way to go for game week 29. Regarding this particular game week, this was a plan that I shared last week as well regarding Weltman. So with Lamptey out for the season, I think Weltman is nailed now at Brighton, and Brighton will not be playing in any of the cup competitions as well, so they'll have plenty of rest between each game week. So with Sanchez, Brighton's goalkeeper in great form, and Weltman looking like a good attacking outlet, I fancy Weltman for not just for this game week, but for just to have him like a set and forget player since Lamptey is just out for the season. And that's the plan. But yes, I also like Kyle Walker Peters. Um, in the first game week, Kyle Walker Peters played, and Southampton looked like the back old Southampton. They got a clean sheet as well. And then because Kyle Walker Peters was returning from an injury, and Hasenhuttl didn't want to risk it, he benched Kyle Walker Peters and instead played Salisu. So
Yeah.
that didn't work in their favor. If you remember the second goal that Che Adams gave it away to Mahrez, it was 1-1 until then, and Che Adams gave the ball away. That would have been Kyle Walker's position
Yeah.
because he gave the ball away from the right back position, and I'm pretty sure if Kyle Walker Peters was there, he wouldn't have done that sort of mistake. And from that goal onwards, the game just completely changed. But yes, Kyle Walker Peters was rested in the last match, so since I'm planning to use free hit, I'll be more inclined towards bringing Kyle Walker Peters. But yes, Weltman very cheap and a decent player to have. Regarding shipping out Cancelo or Stones, I thought a lot about it, and I think I'll be going with Cancelo. The reason I'll be shipping out Cancelo, the reason is because if at all I want to bring in a City defender again, I'll probably like to have Diaz back. And Stones hasn't done much wrong, and he's so cheap as well. He's I got him in for just 4.8 or 4.9, and that is why I just feel that maybe if I want to get in Diaz in my team, it's better to let go of Cancelo because having two City defenders who are 6.0 and you never know if Cancelo will play or not. So it's better to take a risk on Stones because he's cheaper and I can probably invest elsewhere and have a good looking team. So that's the thought process. There's still a lot of tinkering to go. Like I said, I haven't seen much of the matches in the last two game weeks, and I'll be looking at some of the highlights more and also waiting for the press conferences and then accordingly take a call regarding this. I really wanted to bring in a Aston Villa defender because I just thought that if I have Martinez, then probably I'm planning to I feel good about having Martinez in my team and him keeping clean sheets, and that is why I wanted to get in a defender because Matty Cash is back as well. But then the plan is always to get back Grealish as soon as he's back, and that is why I'm gonna save up one berth in the midfield for Grealish, and I'll be content with Martinez and Watkins up top at the moment. Yeah, but yeah, it's gonna be between Welshman and Kyle Walker Peters regarding the defenders. And since I have two more free transfers, maybe KDB will get a look in back, maybe instead of Salah as how it was at the start of the season. So that may be a possibility again. But let's see how it goes. These are the strong core of players that I feel are good for my team and in terms of FPL. Any
Akshay,
suggestions, guys? Sorry,
Akshay,
go on.
when you look at the team, when you look at the team, do you feel that Rashford and Cavani would concern you as an FPL manager if you had this team?
I think if he's planning to play a free hit 29, that's not an immediate concern because we've seen Rashford and Cavani both come back from injuries and play for United. So the idea behind Veltman is keeping game week 29 in mind. So I would rather go for a Kyle Walker Peters and not look at players who are playing in 29 if you're anyway playing a free hit. So, and the thought behind taking out Cancelo, I like that because what happens with Cancelo is if he's on the bench, there are chances that he might come on, but with Stones, there are it's almost a guarantee that he won't unless it's an injury. So that way you are safe in a way that you don't get one pointers. And yeah, I think I like that plan. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
What
the
do you
plan
think,
as
Sid?
well. Yeah, I like it as well. Batman, I think I'd rather have you go with uh, Kyle Walker Peters. I'm not sure about his fixtures or who he plays in game week 30 because but if you're trying to get in someone, according to me, you shouldn't plan for the small weeks, the couple of game weeks. I think you should go 30 game week 30 and beyond because you already have two free transfers. You're willing to uh, make one more, so that makes a total of three. And uh, fielding nine players, and like you yourself said, this might be one of the best game weeks to play a free hit since we have that luxury of you playing the chip. I think you should go ahead and do it. But having said that, yeah, definitely I'd agree with Akshay on uh, get instead of getting Weltman, get any other player from some other team, maybe Cash or Target from Aston Villa if you want, because those assets will still be good into game week 30 and forward because, like I see, Weltman has a bad run of fixtures after game week 29. So if you really want to make him play, just get him in your free hit and then just play. Yeah, coming up on the captain picks, I will right now I'm inclined again towards Gundogan. Hopefully, he his form of FPL returns continues and he gives me a return. Akshay, I think that goes without saying that KDB has to be if you taking a hit, getting him in. There is no other option you'd rather have, right?
I mean, if you have Kevin De Bruyne in your team and you are looking for other captaincy options, then your team must be really good. So I personally have Bruno as well, but it's a difficult choice between him and Kevin De Bruyne right now because De Bruyne is a man in form, and United face West Ham, so that's not an easy team. And although he is at home and he has that advantage with him, but what I feel is De Bruyne could possibly just do the same thing that he did in the previous game, bag a brace and go off to the bench, give you FPL points, and you are happy at the end. So yeah, I'm sticking with De Bruyne right now. But I guess Anand is taking the Bruno mantle for me. So at the end of the day, whoever gets more points, both of us are happy. Yeah, we have them both. Yeah.
Yeah, and what are your reasons of going for Bruno, even though you are looking to get the likes of KDB in your team?
So with Bruno, the thought process is not a not a lot because whenever your chips are down, it's not a bad shout to go for Bruno, in my opinion. Like that is what I've done so far this season. Uh, whenever I'm a bit confused or not so happy about who should I pick, I usually go for Bruno. The last week was a similar case until unless I spoke with you guys and they just suggested that Fulham will because it was my thought process as well that Fulham will benefit Liverpool because of the way Fulham plays, likes to play attacking football. And to be fair, Salah did get a couple of chances, which probably any other say he could have buried it. But yes, I do remember. West Ham versus United this season. It was like a 3-1 win, if I'm not wrong. And I also remember Liverpool versus West Ham this season when Liverpool were down and out, and nobody probably gave them uh, enough, you know, enough weightage for that particular fixture. But then even Salah scored a couple of goals against West Ham. So with West Ham, the thing is, once they concede the first goal, they want to attack as well. And because they would like to attack once they concede the first, then the likes of Bruno and Rashford just becomes lethal because United is probably one of the best counter-attacking teams in the league or in the world right now. So it's a gamble on the first goal. But yeah, United will keep knocking. At the same time, Jesse is not going to play, so West Ham are now used to playing Jesse in their team. So I still feel that Bruno against West Ham is not a bad shout. KDB is for sure the best. Or be that matter, even Gundogan or any other City asset is kind of the best because they're playing Fulham again. The way Fulham likes to play football, it will definitely suit City as well. Although it doesn't matter who City plays, any team can they can just take any team away from the way they're playing. But yes, I just feel that what Bruno brings to this table is 90 minutes. What he brings to this table is the best FPL player this season, or rather since the time he has joined. And yes, that's where I'm inclined towards right now.
Yeah, makes absolute sense, and great captain picks from both of you, with KDB and Bruno, one of two of the highest FPL returning assets as well. But that remains to be seen. Game week 28, the prequel before the massive blank game week 29, which we are all looking forward to. The season is coming to a close very fast, and it'll be pretty amazing to see how the table looks at after game week 38. So that is where we all are headed. To all of us, listeners and supporters, thank you so much for tuning in. All of our social media links are in the description. Please do give us a like, do subscribe to our channel. It really helps us as an upcoming YouTube content creators. All we do this for you. We hope you've enjoyed this show. As always, have a good one, and may the arrow be with you. Cheers.
Cheers.